In the annals of filmmaking, we have great writers, great directors, and then there are the great writer-directors.
No offense to the person, but directors tend to be boring. But Billy Wilder could be one because apparently he was a lot of fun.
Billy Wilder was like, he wasn't like he kind of figured stuff out as he was going along. And no, this is like one of the greats.
Will you welcome, please, then, Mr. Billy Wilder?
From 1942 to 1981, Billy Wilder co-wrote and directed 25 feature films, and he is now considered one of the giants of the classical Hollywood era.
The Apartment, Billy Wilder, and I.A.L. Diamond.
And that's why I say, when you got the audience by the throat, don't let it go. Just squeeze more and harder and get them in the gutter and stamp on them because they are such bastards.
But how did he gain this reputation? What did he do as a writer? And what did he do as a director? In other words, when we talk about Billy Wilder, it's first and foremost as a writer. But interestingly, all of his scripts were co-written, because to him, the process was fundamentally collaborative.
Why do we have to put anything? Just put 3 dots after.
Actors can't read dots.
And one of the stellar qualities of these screenplays is their clarity. At every moment, we the audience know, what do these characters want? What do they say?
Another gin vermouth, please.
What actions do they take? And what happens as a result?
All right, let's have it. Of course. Somebody call a cop.
They have the added benefit of being very funny.
Was machen Sie hier? Sie sind verhaftet!
For me, one of the great things I learned from studying this film is that no matter how dark the subject matter is, that you can still put humor in.
We can hear this most clearly in the dialogue. The characters do not mean what they say, and they do not say what they mean.
Don't you sometimes hate yourself?
Constantly.
Actually, there's a term for that.
The use of words expressing something other than their literal intention. Now that is irony.
Specifically, verbal irony. In Wilder's films, the characters often hide their true feelings. And this is great because it gives the actors something to play with.
If I ever run into any of you bums on a street corner, just let's pretend we never met before.
And the audience something to pick up on. However, according to Wilder, writing the dialogue was the easy part.
For every 500 great dialogue writers, there are 5 great constructionists. That's the toughest job in the world.
When constructing scenes, the writers like to use dramatic irony. That's when the audience knows more information.
They need a couple of girls in sax and bass.
Than the characters.
Well, it just so happens he is looking for a bass and a sax.
The purpose of dramatic irony is to create suspense for us. We want to see if these characters find out.
We want to talk to you. What is it?
It's about the Florida job.
The Florida job?
How they find out.
You gotta be under 25.
We could pass for that.
You gotta be blonde.
We could dye our hair.
And you gotta be girls.
We could. No, we couldn't.
And what happens as a result. Which brings us to the third aspect of Billy Wilder's writing.
I've always liked films where people have to make these moral, ethical choices. What am I going to do?
Yes, I killed him. Killed him for money. For a woman.
And then, not only that, when you see the ramifications of that choice, especially when it's the wrong choice.
I didn't get the money and I didn't get the woman.
This is situational irony. It's when a character makes choices that lead to an unexpected, and yet inevitable, conclusion. For example, Norma Desmond is an actress who desperately wants to be back on camera.
I just want to work again. You don't know what it means to know that you want me.
And she deludes herself into thinking Hollywood wants her back.
The audience left 20 years ago, now face it.
That's a lie! They still want me!
But when someone shatters that illusion, in the end, Norma finally gets her wish.
Lights!
Cameras.
Act!
As the news cameras film her arrest.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again. You don't know how much I've missed all of you.
What made Wilder's scripts great was how they were able to weave all these types of ironies together, while maintaining a strong emotional core.
Happens all the time. Wife and kids go away to the country and the boss has a fling with the secretary, or the manicurist, or the elevator girl.
It is a kind of a mixture. Writing a movie is a mixture of architecture.
The boss goes back to the wife and the girl. They don't make these shrimp like they used to.
And forgive me the pompous word, poetry.
But that's what Billy Wilder did as a writer. What did he do as a director?
I was once asked, is it necessary for a director to know how to write? It is not necessary for a director to know how to write. However, it helps if he knows how to read.
Directing is an act of interpretation, and Wilder had a credo. If the script was simple, you could direct it however stylishly you wanted. But if the screenplay was complex, then you should direct it simply.
I despise doing fancy schmancy shots. I cannot stand it. Boy, I'm going to shoot to the fireplace with the flames in the foreground. I don't do that because I think that this is from the point of view of Santa Claus.
Even though he was famous for his dialogue, Billy Wilder insisted that his films should work as images first.
And the story should be told, according to Billy Wilder, in the classical shots of the silent movies. You use a wide shot when you need it, you use a close-up when you need it.
Second, he put the camera where the subtext was, which allowed the audience to follow the emotions of the scene.
Oh, it's you, Sabrina.
Hello, David.
I thought I heard somebody.
And not just the literal meaning. Consider another sequence from Double Indemnity. Walter and Phyllis are conspiring to kill her husband, but in order to do that...
I knew he wouldn't buy, but all I wanted was his signature on an application. So I had to get him to sign without his knowing what he was signing.
Wilder could have cut to a close-up of the signature because of its importance to the plot.
Where I sign? The bottom line.
But instead, he put the camera here, because to him, the real story was what the signature meant to these two characters. Third, Billy Wilder used as few camera setups as possible. Here's a short scene from Sabrina.
Dear father, or cher papa, as we say over here, isn't my friend...
This scene is about all the minor characters keeping tabs on her love life, and Wilder shoots it in a single unbroken take, so that we can see the actors playing off each other.
I almost flunked my hollandaise. It kept separating on me.
Too much vinegar. Did she mention David?
Now here's the same scene in the 1995 remake.
She's fine. She hasn't adjusted completely, but...
She's miserable. I know it.
I told you not to send her.
Mr. Tom.
There's a cut on almost every line of dialogue. Even though the scene is the same length and has the same number of characters, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different camera setups, and it doesn't need most of them.
I try to accomplish as much as possible with one setup. I designed the shot in such a way that I can eat up 2, 3, 4 pages of dialogue, but not just a static camera. No, it has movement in it.
I don't think of David very much anymore.
That's good.
Except at night.
That's bad.
I love to shoot elegantly, and I pride myself that it's not kind of whacked together, by a dilettante.
And last, Billy Wilder trusted the audience to put 2 and 2 together. This is something he learned from his favorite director, Ernst Lubitsch. Here's a classic Lubitsch setup.
What's that?
It's a hat, comrade. A woman's hat.
How can such a civilization survive which permits their women to put things like that on their heads?
And this is the payoff.
Also, anstatt sagt, 2 und 2 ist 4. Und der Lubitsch sagt 2 und 2. Ende. Das Publikum muss es addieren. Einmal.
Lubitsch never gives the audience a second close-up of the hat. He trusts that they'll understand what it means without him underlining it. Now here's Wilder's version of the same idea.
Oh, I have a present for you.
How do you make sure that they understand what you want to tell them?
Here's $100. You go and buy yourself something.
How do you direct their eyes to that thing? How do you make them remember?
There's nothing here but a $100 bill.
That's right. Well, you see that Mr. Sheldrake gets it.
The subtler you are, the more elegantly you do it, the better a director you are.
So what did Billy Wilder do?
I mean, this is England. You don't get arrested or convicted for something you haven't done.
We try not to make a habit of it.
He wrote complex scripts, woven together with layers of irony and witty dialogue, and then found a way to translate those ideas into simple and elegant images. He understood how the jobs of writer and director complement each other. And through all of his biggest successes,
once you get them into a mood of, hey, this is funny,
and hardest flops,
and the other times you just work very hard, you sweat under the arms, and Christ, you wish you were dead.
He was always able to find the humor of it all.
It's not a profession for a dignified human being.